Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Yeah, I am eLmaGus, and we are today here for the fourth time in total, again, to have a Soul Blazer race for our good friend Everhate. Yeah, hope you're all doing well. I'm just going to quickly explain or allude to why we get together every year around the same time to do this big race of this very video game. A good friend of us, Everhate, of course, passed away in 2016, very unfortunate circumstances, and this was the game we knew him for, and that's why we decided to get together every year around the same time, do a race in his memoriam, and yeah, we're here again today. I should probably also set up my timer correctly. But yeah, hopefully we can enjoy some very good runs, have some fun today, and there we go. We got some very good featured runners for you as well. The elites of the Soul Blazer speedrunning community, which has been invaded by randomizers as well this year. So the normal speedrunning scene wasn't that active anymore, but yeah, they are still top-notch, of course! Of course, we have La Hulk in the top left, the world record holder, obviously. We have in the top right StingerPA, who ran this game at RPG Limit Break last year, alongside some other dude, I don't know. But yeah, in the bottom left we have a Sinstream, and in the bottom right we have Jintatsu too. So let me make sure all of our runners are ready, let me make sure the audio is working just fine, and then we can get ready to go here. There we go. Let's pump it up slightly. Alright, alongside those four runners, there is a bunch of people that will be playing for fun. Somebody is holding up the IRC, I did really enjoy that. Nothing sacred anymore. Alright, just let them know that people need to ready up, and then we're good to go. Alright, now go and save the world for all creatures. Now, for those of you who don't know what Soul Blazer is, it is the first of a trilogy, the good old Enix trilogy, consisting of Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terra Enigma. Of course, Soul Blazer, the best game out of all of three of them. Don't at me. That's what the cool kids say, right? But yeah, this is a very simple, basic game. We'll get to see that once we get going here. Nice little action RPG. I said don't at me. Still waiting for one person to ready up. That is not me. Okay, we have 13 people racing. Very nice turnout, honestly. Not too bad, not too bad. Some old faces that have been participating in the races the past few years, others that are completely new, so I'm very excited for this one. Not racing yourself. Well, I would, honestly, but commentating for for people and I'm playing on my own is probably not gonna work out that well. And restreaming. That's not gonna... I mean, I could try if you want me to, but... That would probably look pretty ugly, to be quite honest with you. Do it! I am scared of the Hulk. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Alright! We can kick this off soon. Just double checking if our featured runners are good to go. The other ones will have to, well, pretty much I hope they are ready. Alright, alright. Where's my boy Jintatsu? There we go. Alright! We are ready to go! Play some Soul Blazer! Let me just make sure that everything is working on the technical side of things. It should be. I also will have to sync up the streams momentarily once they get going, but yeah, other than that, here we go. Alright, so Soul Blazer, as we're starting out, the Master sends us off on a quest to save the world. The world has been plagued by the Death Toll, who imprisoned a lot of the living things on the planet, and you're now supposed to set out and free all those things. The way that works is, in the tutorial here, you can see it very quickly. You kill enemies, and you can then seal a lair and release something. Now, that's pretty much the simple thing that you have to do. And yeah, we're going to travel across the world and do just that. In our travels, we meet this guy here who is also from the heavens, and he will help us. He's the soul that is going to circle around us. What he can do is, we can find magic spells in the game. We get the first spell, Fireball, here. And yeah, when you press the Y button and have a spell equipped, you can then cast that spell for the cost of gems. Gems are going to be very important, especially in a speedrun. Because gem management can be making some things very much quicker. As you can see at the start here, they are spawning two enemies at the same time. One of them they want to shoot with the fireball if they have enough gems to cast it, and then the other one kill them with the sword. And this sort of thing is very prevalent in the speedrun in general. Alright. Also, you will be seeing a lot of layers that we can just ignore and skip in the speedrun. We are, of course, just going to try to do whatever we can, or whatever we have to do in order to beat the game. Which means we can probably skip the better part of the 3/4 of the layers, which is pretty nice. But yeah, for now, everybody seems to be moving along quite nicely. Gem count is very good on Sunside and Hulk. Here's another double spawn that we're going to try to do. Already having a little bit of trouble. Now, as you can see, you also have level, experience, and health in this game, obviously. And, yeah, once your health falls to 0, you will die. I mean, duh. Okay, let me try to sync up a little bit. There we go. And... oh, that's synced already. Just need to... okay. Your health falls to 0 and you die! Exactly, no. Yeah, it seems everybody is moving along very smoothly. Now, you will see that some of the runners might have already taken damage on purpose. The reason for that is that after this layer right here, we have released enough in this dungeon. So what we want to do is go back and do some plots in the town. The fastest way to do that, though, is to take an intentional death warp. Nobody is dying early. So what a death warp does is you will respawn at the Master's Hub here, which is very convenient because then you can go into town immediately. The drawback of that is we will lose all of our gems, so we can't just go back and cast spells immediately again. That's a bit of an issue there, but we can deal with that for the most part, honestly. Death warping is going to be an integral part of the whole run, essentially. But yeah, for now, we have to turn this wheel in order to activate the elevator in the underground castle, and then we will go back and seal some more layers right there. For now, Hulk and Stinger are pretty even. Sin and Jintatsu did take it a little bit safe down here in the first part. The first part of the run is actually, even though it looks very simple, which it is, if you make a small mistake and you die early, it costs you a lot of time. So they took it a little bit safer, managed their health a bit more, and then, you know, lost a little bit of time, but made it through. Alrighty, as we move along, we'll see, we'll ignore the first layer in this area and then seal one here. Yes, Cat, we're playing Soul Blazer, I know. And we will release Lisa. She's going to be a very fun part of the run. Just you wait for it. Alright, Hulk and Stinger's gem count looks pretty okay. You do want to accumulate at the very least 12 gems here before the end of the dungeon, and they are doing really well on that count. Yeah, Hulk even shooting a fireball right there, because he has so many gems. Sin is not doing so well gem-wise, but he might still be able to catch up. Now, enemies can drop one gem, which is a small one, a middle gem, which is 4, or a big gem, which is 10. Obviously 4 and 10 are rarer, but you would like to see those. Those drops are all frame-based, so you can't manipulate any gem drops or something along those lines. Alright, and now we can see Hulk and Stinger are at the last layer we need to seal here, and this is a very popular strat. Oh, Hulk is missing a gem. You're missing a gem, Hulk! A very popular strat for speedruns in Soul Blazer is to shoot layers that you have to seal from afar already to save some time, which both of the runners tried to do here. Hulk was missing a gem, unfortunately. Jin also moving in. Jin made up quite some time here, I believe. He's been doing pretty well. Yes, you always get Fireball in that first room. And then we're going to do another Death Warp here. Yeah, so Hulk and Stinger are very even here. Now, unfortunately, because the plot is a bit, well, convoluted at this point, we'll have to go into the dream of Lisa. So we did find a thing called the Dream Rod, which we can enter people's dreams with if you equip it. And, yeah, Lisa's sleeping in the house here, and, most of the time when you enter people's dreams, you can do something in them. Here, you can make a new passageway in the underground castle for some reason. I don't know why, but you have to do it. So there's a whole lot of plot, and then, yeah, Lisa will tell you, hey, sorry that I screamed at you. Please come back and listen to my story. But we're speedrunners. We don't have that kind of time. And now we will head back for just one chest that we need to get here, that we just freed up by entering Lisa's dream. And then we can move on to the final area of World 1. Of course, along the way, the runners are already going to prepare for another Death Warp again. And there we go. We just had to get Leo's brush here. And then we're moving out again. By death warping. Now why do we need Leo's brush? Well, the reason is, there's a painting in the house here that is the final part of World 1, and in order to enter it, you do have to have the brush equipped. Why? Well, yeah, exactly. Now we do also obtain our first level up in this game, in this dungeon, which at this point, it's not that crucial, but level ups have some quirks in this game. Hulk moving through the torch room here. You want to try and shoot fireballs to kill the torches. Alright, pretty decent room from both Hulk and Stinger. Level ups, you will get a full health refill, which is actually a pretty, yeah, integral part of routing, because you can route it in a way where you can take a lot of damage boosts, and then time your level up just right to get a free health refill. That's going to play a role later on in the run. For now, it didn't really matter. The health refill didn't really matter. The other quirk of level ups is every odd level you will gain defense. So level 1 you have a defense point. Level 3, 5, and so on and so forth, you get a defense point. And every even level you will get an attack point, so you will deal more damage. So on level 2 we actually gain some damage, which is pretty nice, because then you can obviously kill enemies faster. That's not really a very integral part of the game that you get those bonus points, but they do help out quite significantly in some points. Especially at the start of the run, since we're going to try and go all the way through World 3 with the first sword we get, so our damage output from that is going to be pretty low, and the first armor we receive is going to be quite a few ways into the run as well, so every level up we get does help us a little bit. Alright, Hulk is making very good way here, and on the way to the boss, which we're about to see soon, we did pick up an item called a medical herb, which once all your HP go down, if you have it equipped, it will automatically refill all your HP, and you will see why that's important in just a second when we enter the boss. Alright, Hulk's first into Metal Mantis. And this boss is quite annoying. Whenever he's in line with you, he will shoot fireballs at you. But yeah, what you can do is just poke him, and if you do have a medical herb, you can get the health refill. And then you will deal just enough damage to beat him. What you're supposed to do at this boss is you're supposed to go up the conveyor, do a little bit of damage, go back, dodge him, pull him to the other side, and so on and so forth. But yeah, with a medical herb, you can make nice and quick work for him. Now, this boss does look very, very easy. It's actually reasonably difficult, because if you get too close to him, he will not have a hitbox, and he will swing at you, so you will not deal damage to him. So you have to pay attention that you don't go too far, or else you will not be able to beat him. But looks like every runner, actually, for the first time in history, every runner made it through World 1 without an unintentional death. Clappa. Clappa. I think in every other race we had so far, for this, we had at least one person that had an unintentional death in World 1. So, good start, good start. So whenever you finish up a boss, you, yeah, unseal the leader of that world, and that leader will give you a stone. You will need that stone at the very end of the game in order to unlock the final world, yeah, the world of evil. But for now, we're done with World 1. Everybody is on pretty reasonable pace. And we'll be moving into World 2, and now, yeah, it will start to get a little bit more difficult, because, again, we will maintain no armor, and we will keep our World 1 sword, and as you can see, the enemies will of course have more damage, more health than in World 1, so it's going to take a little bit longer to kill them. And they will, of course, also deal more damage. So what everybody's going to try to do here at the lair in the top right is... Oh! The lucky drop! Oh, got it! They will try to preemptively kill the enemies in the top right there with a magic spell, because then you don't have to do it later, and you can save a lot of time there. Hulk got a very lucky gem drop there that enables him to do it. Now, these plants here are the most annoying thing in the game. They will move randomly, which normally enemies react on your position. So based on where you stand, enemies will move in a certain way. That way you can pretty much guarantee that you don't take damage because you can control how the enemies move. Those plants are an exception. They just move randomly and shoot vines out at you. Whenever they shoot a vine out at you, they can't take damage. So those are really, really, really annoying. And let's hope nobody has too much trouble with them. But so far so good. I think everybody got through there quite reasonably. Sin is still seeding the first layer here. Alright, there we go. Yeah, Jin is playing pretty solidly, is catching up. He had a bit of a deficit after the first part of World 1, but it's been getting pretty close right now. Alright, so where Hulk is right now, we're going to try to spawn 2 monsters at the same time. Whenever we can. This is simply to get some extra experience, more or less. And now the plants. So Hulk's gem count is pretty reasonable, very nice alignment from the plants, and yeah, very nicely done by Hulk there, very good lair. See how Stinger does. Stinger has a bit of a plant down there that was not cooperating, but still very nice. Jin also on the plant there, very nice for Jin. I think Jin had the best out of the 3 that already did it. Let's see how Sin will do for that layer. Those layers are the most annoying ones to actually do, because they can cost you a lot of time if the plants move top and bottom at the same time. You need to use a lot more magic than you might want to. Yeah, Sin is having a bit of trouble here, but should be able to, yeah, clean it up nicely. Alright. And that's everything we need to do in the water shrine. Now the people will be going to move on to the next area, which is the fire shrine, and the plants are guarding it. Now they have to be careful, they are taking a lot of damage here. And they do have a medical herb, but they do want to use it in the bottom of the fire shrine, so they can't take full damage here. Stinger has to be very careful. Alright, alright. Now just don't take damage until you level up, and everything's fine. As you can see, they are positioning themselves in a way where the enemies can't hit them, and yeah, Stinger made it through there just fine as well. Jin is going to get his level up soon. Okie dokie. Alright, as we entered the fire shrine, you saw those lizard men. Those are not really annoying. Now, there's another variety of them, which right here Hulk is at right now. They are the teleporting lizard man, which can't take damage while they're doing a teleport, and you have to kill them as they are coming out. So your positioning for those matters a lot, and even though you can't hit them when they're teleporting, they will still hit you when you run through them, so you have to be careful on that end as well. Plus, they are also one of the few enemies in the game that will just move randomly. Just to add a little bit to the annoying factor. Alright, we're in the basement of the fire shrine, and one new gimmick here is that you have these little bridges that light up, and whenever they are lit up, you will take damage when you walk over them. The way the game wants you to circumvent that is you are supposed to unlock an armor called the Ice Armor, which, if you equip it, you will not be taking damage while walking over these bridges. But that, of course, wastes a lot of time. You would have to go back to town, unseal 2 extra layers. That's why we don't do it. Instead, we routed it so that, you know, we have the medical herb for down here, and can just use that to damage boost over those bridges. Now, additionally, we do take a little bit of extra time to unlock a magic spell here called the Light Arrow, which is going to be the best spell in the game, and the last spell that we will pick up. The Light Arrow is a major upgrade from the Fireball. The Fireball did shoot in one direction only. The Light Arrow, as you can see on Hulkstream, it shoots in all 4 directions, and it does a massive amount of damage if you hit your target. So, and that's going to carry us pretty much through the whole game. Alright, as you can see, Hulk will take the damage boost over the bridge right now. And then I'll see one more there. Let's see, the others are doing quite well. Stinger is slightly behind Hulk still. Jin also just behind Stinger. I think Jin used his herb early though, which is okay. That's not going to hurt him too bad. Alright, and after seeing that Lizardman there, we're free to move through the Fire Shrine and finish up this area. Now we will have to move back to Greenwood and grab ourselves an item in order to progress to the final area of this world. And here you can see Hulk already having killed all those plants. He doesn't need to invest any time into doing that anymore, and he can just walk back. So in order to progress, we need to access some rafts. And they will only let us on them if we have proof that we are friends of Greenwood. Now, Turbo the dog over here, who is dead and appears in a dream of this bird, will tell us that we need a leaf from Greenwood in order to, you know, show the rafts that we are friends with nature. And right here, the leaves of Greenwood are found in the dog bones, and we can go back and do the last area of this world, which is the Light Shrine. Now on the way to the Light Shrine, we're not going to do anything, we're just pretty much going to move towards it. There is 2 layers here, but they are insignificant. And onwards we go. Now here, there's a whole bunch of monster layers here that will just open up a new passageway, and the fastest way to get through this is by attracting as many enemies as you can, and then shoot the light arrow to try and get rid of as many as you can at the same time. Hulk doing a very fantastic job here. Nicely done. He already got rid of everything he needed to. Now we should get a level up here reasonably soon. That will add one more attack to our... There it is for Hulk. That will add one more attack power to us, to our stats. Quite handy against especially the teleporting lizards. And now, here where Hulk is right now, he's going to move in a very particular way to spawn enemies in the top left. You can't see it right now, but he has a very particular way of moving there in order to spawn them, but not make them move. And you will see why he does that after he finishes this very layer right here that he's on right now. So, if he did everything correctly, he will be able to set up a light arrow shot here and kill all of those teleporting lizards at the same time. Unfortunately, he has some mismovement in there, so they actually started moving. But if you do it right, they will just all stay on the monster lair, because they are not on screen long enough that they can start moving, and then you can just shoot one arrow, and it's all a done deal. It's a very nice strat right there. Stinger having a little bit of trouble with it as well. And you can see why you want to do that. If they start moving, it's very hard to get them all at the same time. Let's see how Jin does. Jin already made one of them move. Everybody today having a little bit of trouble, maybe a bit nervous. Who knows? I know I would be nervous right now, knowing what boss is coming up next, so... Alright, as we enter the basement here, you will notice that there is no lights. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to release a soul that will give you light in the basement area here of the light shrine, but since we're speedrunners, we don't really have the time to do that, so we're just going to move through the dark, because we can. Alright, and Hulk is moving into the boss fight. Now, this is probably the worst boss in the game. The 3 lion headstone statues. Very simple in concept. They all have their own attacks, and just like normal enemies, depending on where you stand in relation to them, they will move a particular way. So as long as you don't make a mistake, it's fine. You can just beat this boss, no problem. However, if you're a half tile off, then things can go awry very quickly. Hulk, though, Hulk is not a man that makes mistakes. He just kills bosses. Alright, very nicely done there. But this is definitely one of the hardest bosses in the game, especially casually, like if you don't know what you're in for. These 3 will definitely make your life a living hell. Ooh, Stinger making a slight mismovement there on the second stone head. That shouldn't be a big deal, as long as he recovers nicely, and he does. Alright. Okay, yep. Got it. Alrighty, sweet. So they are making it look a lot easier than it actually is, by the way. Just for reference. Alright, Jin also seeming to have a nice time on the boss. Alrighty. Cool! So far, so good. And 3 of our 4 runners are through. Sin, in the meantime, in the bottom left, is trying to get to the boss. Still has a little bit to go. But yeah, the Guardian of the Woods, which is a giant tree, does give us the second stone we need, and we can move on to World 3, which is Sand L. And as every good RPG, it's underwater. An underwater world. Before we can actually go underwater, though, because if you tried to do that, well, you wouldn't be very happy about it, because you will take continuous damage. We do have to go to Southera to unlock some things here. And this is another very intense moment in the run, because, again, we still don't have armor, and we're already in World 3. AKA, the enemies will deal a ton of damage to us if they hit us, so you have to conserve gems from World 2 here in order to be able to make use of your light arrow to get rid of all the enemies here efficiently and without running into danger of getting hit by them. Alright, looks like everybody's doing a pretty reasonable job so far. Okay, cool. Hulk didn't go for the magic shot there. Very nice. And this is the layer we actually have to unseal. We get the level up, and Hulk will take some intentional damage here in order to set up a Death Warp. Very nicely done. And we will release a mermaid that will finally give us our first set of armor in the form of the bubble armor. And with the bubble armor, we actually have armor that is, well... what's the word I'm looking for? It's actually, well, it gets us up to speed, so to say. So we won't be taking like 4 damage per hit anymore, it will just be 2, which is pretty nice. But yeah, we do definitely, even if you have to unseal this mermaid to get access to this part of Saint Ella, but even if you didn't need to do that, you would probably still get the bubble armor, because otherwise you would just be taking too much damage. Alright, there's one more layer we have to seal in Southera, which we only have access through the water. Hulk, as you can see, is taking intentional damage one more time here to set up a Death Warp. Calculated. And yeah, here's the gimmick of Saint Del, which by the way is the longest world in the speedrun. You go through an area, you unlock a mermaid statue, which will unlock a new area for you, and you have to do this a whole 4 times. It's great. Alright, Stinger, not too far behind, also on the same layer, setting up his Death Warp. Jintatsu also following. Sin, in the meantime, entered Southera for the first time, so he's not too far behind either. So one mistake could still, you know, turn around this race. It is entirely possible. Alright, so we unlocked, after sealing that layer, we unlocked the... and talking to the statue, we unlocked Rockbird, which is going to be our next destination. And as you can see, if you have the bubble armor equipped underwater, you will be able to breathe in the bubble, and you don't take damage. Alright, so in Rockbird, we can make our first decision, and Hulk just made it. So the upcoming area after Rockbird is going to involve a couple of damage boosts that you have to make. And you have a decision here. You can pick up a medical herb if you want to, right here, in order to make that a lot safer. But Hulk just says, I don't need a medical herb, I'm good at this game. So he skipped the safety item here. Pretty curious what the other runners will do. Alright, just lining up for that shot. Hulk missing it. Ah, he's doing it. He's getting the safety. Boo. Yeah, so this is an extra layer where you can unlock chests, and there's a medical herb. He's having a little bit of trouble here, going through the area, but yeah, looks to be alright now. See what our other 2 runners that are on Rockbird right now will do. I'm assuming they also get the medical herb. Alright, and this is the last layer we need to seal here. Alright, Jin took the safety as well. Stinger did as well. I'm not very proud right now, but it's fine. It's alright. Can't blame them. Alright, so all three runners that were already in Rockbird did, in fact, get the safety herb, which, yeah, that's alright. We did unlock the next area, which is the volcanic island of Durian, and as that already sounds dangerous, it quite literally is. Again, there is some parts there where you will have to damage boost over some lava, so health management is pretty big in that area, and yeah, the safety herb is definitely a reasonable choice at that point. Additionally, in Durian, not only is there like lava on the ground, there's also there will also be falling magma rocks, randomly, quite literally randomly falling down and damage you if you are unlucky. So that can ruin your day as well. Now, what you're supposed to do casually here is there is a mermaid that you can unseal that will give you an item called the Mermaid's Tears, which will actually erase all the lava, so you won't have to do the damage boost. But that's slow, right? So we don't really want to do that. Alright, so Hulk is in Durian right now. As you can see, the rocks falling from above, and already he took damage there. There you go. Safety might already be paying off since he already took quite a bit of damage there. You almost need full health at the very end of this area in order to make sure that you can do the damage boost if you don't have an herb, so just not having that weigh on your mind is probably very reasonable. Alright. Jin and Stinger are pretty even right now, and not too far behind Hulk, so looks pretty good. Sin is having a little bit of trouble here and there, but he's making, as they say, steady progress. He's about a minute and a half behind, I would say. Hulk lining up for a magic shot here. Ah, missing it. Another thing about this area is that you want to have very good gem count at the end. You need 5 light arrow shots, which costs 8 gems, in order to kill the enemies at the very end of this area. Hulk is having just barely enough gems right now, because they will also drop gems. Jin and Stinger have fantastic gem counts right now. Fantastic. Never seen a higher gem count, actually, than Stinger has right now in this area, so almost 100. It's pretty crazy. Alright, and Hulk is setting up to kill the enemies in the final layer here. And this is exactly why you want to have at least 36 gems, which Hulk had, and yeah. And now the part where you need to damage boost over the lava. Hulk, of course, perfect health management. He made it there with 1 health. Didn't even need the medical herb. Come on! Jintatsu will definitely need the medical herb, as I can see right now. Stinger might be able to make it without the herb, actually, which is pretty nice. Alright, as you can see, Hulk just did a menu, and he preemptively equipped a miscellaneous item, which we're going to get in a little bit. That's something you can do in this game. You can preemptively equip your miscellaneous items. It doesn't work for, like, weapon, armor, and magic, but it does work for the miscellaneous items. Alright, so, we unlocked Blester, the third area in St. L, and before we go there, we have to talk to Lou the Dolphin, which we just unlocked. And he will give us a nice little item called the Thundering, which is going to be useful exactly one time only. Heck yeah. Alright, once we obtain that though, we will make our way to Blester. Hulk with a pretty solid lead at this point, but again, nothing set in stone yet. One mistake, one misstep somewhere, a bad death, and it's all turned upside down. Alright, in order to reach Blester, we need to kill these metal crabs here, which you can't damage them while they're in their shell. The reason I call them metal crabs is they are considered metal in this game. That's enemies have the attribute of being quote-unquote metal, and you need a certain type of damage in order to get through to them. Or damage them at that point. Which we're going to see right at the very end of Blester here, and the whole reason we got the Thundering, there's these little nodes there, and we have these metal monkeys right here. Hulk is going to take a little bit of damage to set up a Death Warp, and we do have to kill these metal monkeys. Unfortunately, we can't damage them conventionally. Though since we have the Thundering, we can get the help of the Master. If we get close to one of these nodes, he will shoot down lightning, and that will actually get rid of the metal monkeys right there. There's other ways to kill metal enemies in this game, of course, but at this point in the game, we don't really have a way of doing that. Hulk missing the Death Warp by a little bit there. Alright, and he unlocked the final area of St. L, which is the Ghost Ship area. Alright, and Hulk just opened up a chest with the best item in the game, the second best item in the game, but I mean for speedrunning purposes, the best item in the game. You have received the Power Bracelets. Now, that quite literally doubles your damage output, which, if you swing your sword, of course, you do, let's say 3 damage, you'll do 6 damage, which is great. But additionally to that, normally your poking damage when you hold out your sword will be 1. But if you hold out your sword now with the Power Bracelet equipped, it will do 2 damage instead, and that will be very useful in a lot of places. Now, Hulk entering the boss tier, which is the Ghost Head, and as long as he positions himself correctly, nothing should be happening that is bad here. The Ghost Head, though, is dealing quite a lot of damage. Alright, got it. Easy. Now, the thing is, if you're still level 8, which sometimes you will get level 9 early and an additional defense point, if you're still level 8, it is quite dangerous because you will be essentially a 2-shot. And that is very, very dangerous there. Jin Tatsu probably took an unintentional death in Blaster at some point. He lost quite a bit of time. Very unfortunate there. As Stinger is entering the boss fight, again, you are a two-shot. The hands, by the way, that come at you randomly, you will notice that they don't have a health bar. They take a random amount of hits. No matter how strong you are, they will take a random amount of hits to get rid of them until they respawn. Stinger seemingly having no trouble with the boss, though. Very nicely done. Also moving on there. Staying on the tail of Hulk. And from the Mermaid Queen at the end of World 3 here, we will get our third stone, and we will be moving on to the next area, which is going to be the Mountain of Souls. Alright, so the Mountain of Souls, we still only have our first sword, which, with the power bracelet, is barely good enough to deal some reasonable damage to the enemies here. The Mountain of Souls, the big part here is going to be we want to have very good positioning in relation to the enemies, like here with the bats, or we're going to try to use our light arrow magic to get rid of enemies in an efficient way. Either way, the Mountain of Souls World 4 is one of the biggest RNG areas because of the fact that we can't deal that much damage. We are banking on the fact that we get good gem drops here. And if we don't, then that might slow us down a little bit. Alright, I mean, we have the gem chest right there. But that's pretty much all we get. Fortunately for us, we do get a free armor upgrade, essentially, which is the magic armor. And not only is that a free armor upgrade, it will also be kind enough to actually halve the magic cost of every spell we have. So as long as you have it equipped, instead of 8 gems, it will only cost 4 gems to cast Light Arrow, which is great. Alright, Hulk's almost at the end of the area here. You can see that he couldn't actually move, but had to slide on the ice there. We will be unlocking an item that will enable us to move freely over those parts, but we will have to go back to town for that, unfortunately. It's the biggest detour of the game, essentially, where we unlock this boy right here who will give us the mushroom shoes, which will enable us to do just that. But yeah, unfortunately, that means we have to go all the way back, and we have to go all the way back up afterwards. So Hulk's making his way back while Stinger is unlocking the mushroom shoes. And yeah, Hulk left this lair right here unsealed because he had to come back anyways. And now we will need the mushroom shoes for this part right here. And then they become unnecessary. Hooray! On Ward 4, unfortunately, you will have to unseal or seal a lot of layers because they open up the passage to where you actually need to go in order to progress to World 5. There's a bunch of NPCs that you have to get in order to be able to, progress. So there's going to be quite a few layers we will need to seal. And as you can see here, there's also new types of enemies in terms of movement with these bats right here that will just circle around you. Now if you time it just right, you can kill them with one light arrow shot, and that's that. But yeah, they are pretty annoying. Again, Hulk is pretty good on gems though. Stinger is not looking too hot right now, but it should still be enough. For the next 4 or 5 minutes we want to use definitely a lot of magic in order to progress as fast as possible. And yeah. One of the main reasons not only are the bats, also Hulk's currently killing some vampires right there. If you get too close to them, they start teleporting around, and that will obviously take time. So what you want to do is shoot light arrows from afar in order to kill them nice and quick. Alright, we have been running 50 minutes without a weapon upgrade, and here's our first one, the Lucky Blade. Now, the only reason we actually picked this up, though, is that the Lucky Blade locks an area. If we didn't need to pick up the Lucky Blade, we probably wouldn't, to be quite honest with you. But here we are. The problem is with weapons in this game, they have level requirements on them, and the Lucky Blade is level requirement 15. Now you think, huh? Why does he have it equipped then? Well, you can equip any weapon you want at whatever time you want. The problem is, if you're lower level than the level requirement, you can't swing that sword, so you can only poke. Even though we can only poke with the sword right now, the Lucky Blade has another hidden property which, well, it increases the frames of enemies, giving you good gem drops. So you have a higher chance of getting better gems with the Lucky Blade equipped, and that's the main reason why we want to have that one equipped for the next couple areas. Unfortunately, again, we do lose our ability to swing the sword, which is a bit, well, inconvenient at times, but for the most part, a non-issue. Stinger is running very low on gems here. Alrighty. Picked up some there. Alright, and in order to get to this last area right here, where Hulk just went through, that's where you need the Lucky Blade. If you don't have it, the Grandpa will block you, and you can't actually access it. Alright, Hulk making short work of those layers. It's going to take the safety strat here. And do one layer at a time. You can do 2 layers at the same time there, but it's a bit awkward if you miss it. In the meantime, Stinger also making his way into the final area of World 4. Gem count looking quite decent after being very way down. And at the last screen here, we have to essentially just see a whole bunch of layers. Alright, Hulk making good progress. Stinger is not too far behind. He's on the second to last screen here already. Oh, and Hulk moves into the hardest boss fight in the game. This is Poseidon. And hold your breath. It's gonna take the runners everything they have in order to beat this boss. Such skill. Oh boy. Can he do it? Now, I'm kind of making fun of this. If you don't have the power bracelet equipped, you will actually have to move around and stuff. Like, you can't do enough damage if you don't have it equipped. That's a popular thing that speedrunners have done 1 or 2 times, not re-equipping the power bracelet. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, he's not taking damage. Oh yeah, oops, I had to equip the power bracelet again. But yeah, all in all, Poseidon is probably the easiest boss in the game. You literally just stand in front of him and poke him, and that's it. Now you do have to pay attention that you're in somewhat reasonable health going into the boss, because he will hit you with his trident or flames. So you have to make sure that you have a somewhat healthy amount. So Hulk's taking some intentional damage here while finishing up the 2 layers he didn't seal yet, which are the most important layers in the game! Because he will release some grandmas right here. But why is that so important, you ask? Well, we will find out in about 40 minutes. Maybe a little less, actually. And Hulk taking another Death Warp right here. And with that, he can complete World 4. Now, unlike every other world, where you have to talk to the leader of the world, which is like a king or the big tree, we will actually, in order to progress, have to talk to Gnome the Snail right here, who was imprisoned by the king. Who is a good friend of Dr. Leo, and he will give you the stone instead of the king here. We will come back to the king a bit later, though. But I want dancing now! Alright, Stinger finishing up as well, very close to anyways. So he's having a pretty decent run, Stinger that is, right now. As Jintatsu is moving into the Poseidon boss fight. And Hulk is in probably the most difficult part of the speedrun. This is Leo's lab, and we are currently in the basement, and this is where it gets real. Now, we are in World 5, and enemies will start hitting like a truck, and additionally, we already saw like the metal monkeys earlier that had the special property of, yeah, being immune to like the normal sword. We will now have to get a weapon that will be able to pierce that metal coating, and we do get that weapon at the very start of this area, which is the Sentetsu sword. However, the problem is its level requirement is level 16, so since we're just level 13, we can't actually swing this sword, and that means all enemies that are metal coated, they will be needed to be poked to death. As you can see right here, these helicopters, for instance, are one of those enemies. And they do hit like a truck if they hit you, and the problem with this area with the basement is we do have some damage boosts at the very end, which we have to take. And if you take too much damage before that, well, your life might be very miserable very quick. But so far, Hulk's doing a very good job here. Didn't take any unnecessary damage at all, for the most part. Oh yeah, also, the basement here has a very nice enemy, these robot mice. That just run around wildly across the screen and, well, try to escape from you, and it's very hard to kill them without being able to swing the Sentetsu sword. Yeah, he's very careful here. Okay. And yeah, we have to kill these mice right here as well. Very nice, very nice. Doing a good job right there. Sweet. Very nicely done by Hulk. Now, he already equipped his medical herb. There is some fire bridges here that you already saw some of them that we have to boost over. And that's exactly the reason why we have a medical herb here, because if you don't have that, you might have trouble doing so. And as you can see, the enemies hit for quite a bit of damage right there. So yeah, the herb has to be used right there. And then we can move on to where we actually need to go here. Alright, Hulk trying to combine two layers at the same time here. He can't take too much damage. Okay. Seal that one up. Let's see, Stinger took a little bit of damage there, but for the most part he should be fine. As Jintatsu's moving into World 5 as well. This is definitely one of the make and break points in the run, so... Oh, Hulk took some unintentional damage there. He has to be a little bit careful. Now, the most annoying layer in the game here for Hulk, you will have to kill these mice by poking them. If you miss one of these mice, it's all over. Because they will run around the whole screen until they come back, so that's no fun. No bueno. Hulk did get everything though. Already taking damage for the death warp here. Very nicely done. Very good basement from Hulk. Textbook. Textbook. Stinger is having a bit of trouble. He's already very low in health, so he needs to be careful that he doesn't take damage early here. Or too much damage too early. Alright, he's just using the herb right there. Okay. Well, he should be fine. As long as he doesn't take any more damage. Because then it will get a bit close. S-Hulk is moving on to the next area, which we are level 15 now, so with the Lucky Blade equipped, we can actually swing a sword that will do some, at least a reasonable amount of damage. And fortunately, in this little model town area that we have to go through, there are no metal enemies, so we can just use the Lucky Blade here and be fine. We can also use our magic, and it's all good. Alright, Stinger looks to be quite alright here. As Hulk's moving through the model town. Jintatsu in the bottom right doing a reasonable job. Oh lord, he missed the mouse, and as I said it, and a little trick you can do when you miss one of these mice, you can unseal a layer that you don't need, which he did, and then they will of course respawn, which is it's slightly faster than trying to recover from that blunder. And yeah, Sin in the bottom left, just entering World 5 as well. I don't think, except for Jintatsu, anybody had an unintentional death yet. So everybody's rolling through pretty nicely. Stinger getting done with the basement, very nicely done. He's on pretty good pace, I think he's ahead of his PB. Alright, this Hulk is already done with the model town here, making very nice pace. But what's better than one model town? Two model towns, of course. So we will get to go through another one of those. So in these model towns, there's also invisible enemies, like invisible catapults. Hulk just kind of didn't hit one of them that he needed to. But yeah, there's only one layer we need to seal in the second model town, and it's the one Hulk just sealed. Everything here does, even though you have armor equipped, it does a lot of damage, so you need to be a little bit careful while moving around, but for the most part, it should be alright. Yeah, Hulk's almost done with World 5. He unlocked the final area. And we'll be moving on to the boss fight. Now, Hulk did a little bit of an optional pickup there. We do pick up the light armor, which is a armor upgrade. Not really for this area specifically here, but since we are not going to get another armor upgrade until the very end of the game, the light armor, which is right there, is definitely a very reasonable pickup. Mostly because of World 6. Because the enemies there will hit even harder than they already do right here. And if you don't have the light armor, you are pretty much like a 4 or 5 shot, even with like as much health as you have right now. So you can skip it, it saves like a couple seconds if you play perfectly, but it's very unreasonable to do so. Alright, Hulk's on the boss, Tyndall. Now Tyndall in casual is a very annoying boss fight because, you know, he's moving all over the place and he has teleporters and missiles and all that good stuff. Now, the problem with that Tyndall has is he doesn't have a very good AI. As long as you're just one tile left of him, he will just go up and down. So as long as you have enough health and you move in a reasonable fashion up and down, you will be able to kill him quite handily there. Yeah, Hulk's making very great pace here. Stinger is already also moving towards Tyndall here. He did take a little bit too much damage right there, but... Stinger! Alright, we're fine, this is fine. Alright, as Hulk gets his next stone from Mary the Doll. And is moving on towards World 6! Stinger having no trouble with Tyndall at all, making short work of him. Alright, we're now on Hulkstream in Magritt's castle, and, you know, we have had the experience of metal enemies before that we only can damage with the Zentetsu sword. Now the game adds one more layer on that. We are going to have ghosts right here, which we will only be able to damage with the Spirit Sword. Fortunately, the game gives us the Spirit Sword pretty early in the dungeon here. Unfortunately, it has a level requirement of 19, which means all we can do is try to poke these ghosts. And these ghosts, they are extremely annoying because they will move around you or try to move around you and randomly just disappear, and then take a random amount of time to reappear in front of you, so depending on how your luck is there, you might lose or gain a little bit of time. Now, Hulk is doing a little glitch here that you can do. Now, when you swing your sword and then switch to another sword, it will take the properties and damage numbers of that sword. Hulk needs to be careful, he's taking too much damage. Oof. Oh, there is the clutch level up for Hulk. Very clutch level up. He had to be very, very careful there, but he managed barely to get that level up in. That was pretty clutch, honestly. One or two more bad cycles of the ghost, and that could have ended pretty badly. He made it though, as Stinger is also entering Magritt's castle basement, and Jintatsu moving into the Tyndall boss fight. So there's a secret passage here down here in the basement, and we're going to be making use of that, and we're going to seal a couple more layers here, and then take another death warp. Now World 6, additionally to having 3 short dungeons, has another annoying requirement that you have to get items in order to enter 2 of them, which you do also unlock by sealing certain layers in this world, but yeah, this is some additional stuff we have to do, unfortunately. Stinger's having a very good time here, though, in the basement. He's doing really well. He's also going to do the little glitch where he swings his Zentetsu sword and then switches to the Spirit Sword to give it the properties of it, and you will see there's a lot of damage at once. Stinger! Stinger! Oh, heart attack! Heart attack! Alright, Hulk's done with the basement, the last layer he had to steal right there for the soldier. Nice and easy. Stinger following up here. Almost entering the last screen of the basement. Not too far behind. Again, still, one mistake can make all the difference here. Yeah, for the first time ever for a Death Warp actually though, we want to conserve our gems. And the way you do that is you can pick up items that are called Strange Bottle. If you equip those and you die with them equipped, they will shatter, but you get to keep all your gems, which is really, really nice. And that will help us out quite tremendously in the next area we're moving forward to. Now, in order to get access to that area, unfortunately, we had to pick up an item called the harp string. We have to give that to this musician. And then the soldier we unlocked just at the end of the last dungeon will move, and we will find the platinum card, which will give us access to the left tower here. It's a bit complicated, but what you gonna do? Now, the most important thing right here is to remember to equip your armor back on and the power bracelet, because if you forget that, you will take a lot of damage and not do a lot of damage until it's too late, but yeah. Hulk is making very good use of the light arrow here. Preemptively taking out quite a few of layers. Very nicely done. As Stinger just finished up the basement, so he's almost there too. Oh, nice. Alright, Hulk's entering the final area of the left tower. Missing one magic shot there, but not a big deal. And now sealing all layers that he just got here. Now he's doing this in a very particular order here, the sealing. You want to seal or release Dr. Leo first, because if you release the soldier he's about to release first, Dr. Leo will have a lot of additional text, which you can circumvent by just releasing Leo first and then doing the other layers in that order. Saves a little bit of time right there. Stinger has to be a bit careful here, he took a lot of damage. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. No! And there is the first death for StingerPA. Yeah. Now the redeeming factor for that is that he did the majority of the layers that take a long time to seal in that screen already, so it's not that big of a time loss, but it's still a bit annoying. As Hulk is moving forward to the right tower, so after releasing the Queen, she will give you the VIP card, which will give you access to that part of the world, and it's the final part that we are going to be visiting. But yeah, Stinger's death allowed Jin Tatsu to catch up ever so slightly. As he's entering the left tower already as well. Alright, so Hulk, at the very end here, entering the longest cutscene in the game. We'll have a solid minute and 40 of talking and good dialogue. Fantastically translated from Japanese. You are Queen Margaret. You destroyed the world. Didn't you realize? Shut up, wimp! You took everything away from me. You are dirtier than evil. So yeah, Leo wanted to destroy Death Toll, who is the responsible for, like, you know, sealing the whole world, essentially. The way he got to do that was that King Margaret right here wanted the machine in order to appease Death Toll, and, you know, King Margaret essentially just sought power. But, yeah, got caught up in it, and, well, Death Toll crossed him, of course. Queen Margaret, however, still greedy for power, is trying to get that once more. And, well, Leo makes a very touching sacrifice right there. But we're going to completely ignore it and go fight the boss. Now, the boss right here is probably the best boss in the game. It's not the hardest boss fight, but it's definitely the most fun one because it has a good amount of RNG in it. This is going to be the Demon Bird boss fight, and now the bird can do one of two things. It can either dive like this, or it can cross the screen horizontally, and that's what you want him to do. So we got 2 dives on Hulk's side already, which is of course a time loss. He could just do this. It's random whether he gives you dives or not. That's 3, 4, 5, 6 dives. That's pretty eh. But yeah, that's a pretty substantial amount of time lost compared to 0, of course, but yeah. It's quite literally Storm Eagle, yes. Alright, so Stinger is in the cutscene right now, which means he's about 2 minutes behind Hulk. And as we return, this girl that we entered the dream of earlier in World 1, Lisa, she's right here, and she's talking, and talking, and talking. Also kind of in love with us for no reason at all, but you know, things happen. Okay, so now we pretty much rescued all 6 worlds that exist, which means we can go to the final area of the game, right? Well, we can. But we cannot fight the final boss quite yet. We are making a very slight detour. Where the Queen was before, we will have the Super Bracelet now. So, like, the Power Bracelet doubles your damage output, right? The Super Bracelet will not only do that, but also additionally give you double defense, which is huge for the final area of the game. But yeah, we have to talk to King Maggot, get the last stone, and then we can move on to the World of Evil. Unfortunately, the final boss is not quite there yet, because in order to fight the final boss, we will have to do a little bit of a fetch quest before we can actually confront Death Toll himself. But more to that in a little bit, as StingerPA enters the bird boss fight. We have to count dives, of course. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Alright, 3 so far. Ah, only 3? Not bad. Not bad at all. Could be worse. Making up time. Alright, so, the World of Evil, there's obviously nothing, no NPCs or anything that you can release here. All the layers here will essentially just open up new pathways, and we're going to try to take the fastest path through the World of Evil, for obvious reasons. Alrighty, Hulk is making up good ground here. Ah, missing some magic shots there ever so slightly. As Jintatsu is entering the bird fight, let's see. No dive at the start, very nice. One dive. Alright. Alright. Okay. In the World of Evil, there's 2 chests here, which will have the ultimate gear in the game, the Soul Blade and the Soul Armor. Yeah, I mean, again, ultimate gear, you need level 24 in order to be able to swing the Soul Blade, and that will become important in a little bit here. The Soul Blade additionally has the ability to literally hit anything in the game, so you can kill metal enemies, spirit enemies, everything with the Soul Blade, including these nice little squares that are flopping around right here. And Hulk is going to preemptively do a little bit of a hashtag grind here. We want to grind to level 24 to be able to swing the Soul Blades, and since this is Soul Blazer, we obviously need 420,000 experience to do that. Duh! I don't know if the developers ever intended that, but that would be Cosmic Brain. I don't know. But yeah, 420,000 experience is what we need. So we'll be grinding until just that, and the reason for that is, in order to actually beat the final boss, you do need to be able to swing the Soul Blade, because you do need a magic spell called Phoenix that we will have to obtain after we are done with this grind in order to be able to hit him. And in order to cast Phoenix, you need to actually be able to swing your sword. So yeah. So yeah, Hulk counted exactly the experience he needs right here. He's not quite at 420,000 yet, but he will get there. While he is doing some backtracking here. Because in order to obtain Phoenix, you will have to get 3 items that are called the Red Hot items. One of them is here in the World of Evil, as you can see, the Red Hot Ball. We're right here. And the other 2 are scattered around the world. Now, where could they be? If you remember World 1 and 2, there were enemies we couldn't kill, well, 2 and 3, well, 1 as well, but there were enemies we couldn't kill there. And what you have to do is you have to backtrack and seal 2 layers here that will release NPCs that will have red out items for you. So we have a Metal Monkey lair in Durian here, and then we have a Spirit Sun lair in the basement of the Light Shrine that we will have to seal in order to get the red out items. And with those, we can go back to the King of the Mountain King, and he will give us the Phoenix spell, and that will make the final boss spawn. So Hulk's taking a little bit of damage here in order to do a Death Warp after as efficiently as possible. As Stinger will also set out on the quest to get the red out items right now. He's through the World of Evil. Jin is just in the World of Evil. Halfway through. And we have some dives right here on Sin's stream. Maybe. There you go. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Keep on diving, baby. Oh yes. Give the runner that is furthest behind the most dives. Obviously, why not? That's Soul Blazer. But he got through all the same. Yeah, so Hulk just hit level 24. And is currently obtaining, or trying to obtain, his last red hot item. So Stinger is actually doing a little bit of a different strat where he puts the grind after collecting the red hot items, which is a very slightly slower strat than doing the grind beforehand. Now, to get the last item, we unlock this bird right here, and it's a bit of an annoying creature because you have to talk to it from behind, otherwise it will fly away. But no less, we get the red hot mirror, and we're now ready to receive the Phoenix spell. Hulk just, you know, taking an extra round there for no reason. Just being like, ha, I'm the best, I can do this and still win by 2 minutes. Ha ha ha! You know. Alright. Now remember that we had to release those 2 grandmas, and the very reason is actually that if those grandmas, which by the way are dancing grandmas, whee! If you don't release them, you can't get Phoenix. And as you get Phoenix, the king will say that the final boss just unlocked. Alright, and Hulk will make his way toward that final boss just now. Fortunately, the teleport node is right at the entrance, and we'll be rolling in right now. Now, Hulk's gem count is pretty bad. So in order to cast Phoenix, you actually need to have the Soul Blade and Soul Armor equipped. Of course, the spell as well. And then it will cost you gems in order to shoot the Phoenix. So what Hulk needs to do, he actually needs to manage his gem drops right here, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, so the way Death Toll works right here, you need to kill the 4 blue flames he spawns in order for him to become vulnerable for a short amount of time. And then you have to shoot Phoenix during that time. Now what you want to do, he also shoots these lasers at you that you can see right there. You want to make it so that whenever he shoots the fireballs at you and is vulnerable, the lasers are not on screen, because that will create a tremendous amount of lag. If you can help it, of course. Sometimes the game will just not let you do that, but yeah. And time is, of course, when Death Toll starts to explode. Alright, we're getting close. And that's time. GG to the Hulk, finishing in first place with a 137.45. Nice run. As always, from Hulk, of course. World record, by the way, is a 135.37. Yeah, what well said is exactly what happens. Alright. GG to Hulk, but we got Mr. StingerPA rolling in right behind him into the final boss fight here. Stinger is very close to a PB, but it probably won't be enough. That one unintentional death in Magritt's castle did him in. And that's time for Stinger. That's a 140.44. GG. Not bad at all. Second place in the race. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And we have another death toll on screen on Jintatsu. So let's roll it over there. Yeah, very nicely done, Stinger. Very nicely done. I've seen a lot of good things. Just one minor bad thing, and that cost you the PB. Should be 126 if I remember correctly. The JP world record. JP saves about 9 minutes, 9:30-ish. Jin should get close here. And that's time for Jin. He's ending it with a 142.35 in third place, improving his race PB by 2 minutes. So GG, Jin. Very nicely done. That will leave us at 1 person left on the featured 4 here, which is Sin. And he's currently collecting his red hot items. So he'll be done very soon too. There is still 8 other people going. So, I think, no, 9 other people are still going, aren't they? Yeah. Somebody just disconnected from IRC, but still racing. Alright. Alright, before I throw up random stuff on the screen, going to have to make, yeah. No. Going to have to make sure everything's alright. Stinger, your gem drops, I don't know if you can hear me, but your gem drops in Lenol, jeez. Like, after having only 10, you just, like, pulled out, like 80 out of nowhere, or something like that. It was crazy. One more time, dancing grandmas for the magic of Phoenix. Alright, so Sin will be moving into the final boss fight in a little bit here. This should still be easily sub 150, which is a good breaking point. Honestly, a sub 150 is definitely already pretty respectable time. Yeah. Alright. We're rolling in. See, it wouldn't have been sub 150. Sub 140. Easy. Alright, one last time. In a death toll. The race, by the way, for the racers that are just arriving in chat, if you can hear me, it was really close until the end of World 3. Then it started to separate slightly. So that was definitely very nice. And for the first time ever, nobody had an unintentional death in World 1. It was great. Alright, we're making good headway here, and this should be time momentarily. Not quite the sub 148. Should do it. There it is. I'll just take that as a time. GG Sin! With a 148.04 on his timer. Coming in 4th place. GG to all of the featured runners right now. Very nicely done. Alrighty. Very nice race, very well done. Thank you to everybody participating and being that was featured today. We have one more thing to do before we roll out, and that is we need to watch the ending on Hulk's side. But again, there's still more people going that participate, not necessarily speedrunners of the game, but I encourage you to check them out if you want to watch some more Soul Blazer, or if you think, hey, this is cool, you know, you can do it yourself today. There is a very good guide from StingerPA out there on how to get through the game in a reasonably paced fashion, so if you feel the urge to play this game, it would be a cool thing if you did. So in the past, I've put on the other racers that are currently still going after people are done, but I think that's a bit overkill, so we're just going to wait for the best part of the game, actually. And then we're going to host up somebody who is currently still going. But first, the tracker. Oh wait, no, Rando. No, Rando! What? I can't believe it. Everhate, is that you? My. I knew you would come back. So you can answer what you want here. It doesn't matter. Ooh, and Invenerable just finished in with 150, 153 in 5th place. Not bad, he just learned the game. Very nice. GG. Here we go. Okay, let me introduce myself. I am Lisa. And the goat behind me is Turbo. Come on, Turbo. Say hello. Bleed! Alright, and with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out today to watch this short little race right here. It's still going though. Again, if you feel like, wow, it's a cool game, you're free to play. Stinger has amazing notes out there. Thanks for the support. Thanks for coming out for Everhate today. Much appreciated. I'm sure a couple people will be going throughout the day, so make sure to check out the category Soul Blazer if you want to watch more of that. But now let me just quickly check who we are going to host up from here. Or play it casually, or the rando. Whatever you want to. Let's see. We got quite a few streamers that are doing the race right now. Puexel is still going, but almost done, I would imagine. Happy Squid 89, Holy Smith, Weapon, Zelesium, Infinite Mystery. Now, who to host? That's the question. A mod with everybody goats? Whoever is farthest from the end. Well... Okay, I need to be able to tell by just looking at the screen. That's hard. Oof. We're just going to rate up weapon, I guess. He's a... That should be easy. Yeah. I'm just going to do that because he's just halfway through at most. He normally just plays the rando, but decided to participate in the race. All right, we'll get the blade from Stinger, and then we'll move on. But yeah, again, thanks everybody for coming out. Come on, Turbo, say hello. Blades! And you can put that in weapons chat if you want to. Give him a nice blades. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys! And enjoy your day and weekend. Cheers! Have a good one.